Welcome to Naturally You Radio with your host, Leah Salmon, the Naturally You Coach. Leah is the best-selling author of 6 books, homeschooling mother of 7, natural health, well-being coach, and speaker who wants to help you create a life that nourishes and fulfills you on all levels, with advice on naturally healthy living, homeschooling, family, relationships, and personal development. And here's your host, Leah Salmon.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Naturally You Radio, helping you create a nourished life. I'm your host, Leah Salmon, the Naturally You Coach. You can find me at thenaturallyyoucoach.com. And today I've got the pleasure of interviewing a sister that I've known for a very long time. And we're going to rap about a few things that you may find interesting. She's going to talk a bit about the work that she does. And we're going to find out her views about some things that I feel are important to me and I know are important to a lot of the family that's out there listening. So I would like us all to warmly welcome Miss Oneness Sankara. Welcome to the call, Oneness.
Peace and blessings, sister.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm well. I'm blessed. Excited. Good.
Yay!
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. I'm excited to have you on the call. This is lovely.
Give thanks, sis.
Cool. All right. So if you can tell the listeners a bit about yourself and the work that you do, because I don't have your bio to read out, so we can hear it from your good self.
Okay, lovely. Well, my name is Oneness Sankara. My specialist area is in the creative arts, and I use creative arts, performing arts to heal, educate, explore, inspire, and motivate. And I do this through the mediums of song, poetry, theatre, DJing, sometimes in workshop settings, sometimes in performance settings, sometimes as a motivational speaker. But yeah, that's my world.
Sistren, you're a DJ.
Yeah.
Me never know that.
Well, do you know what? I used to basically DJ in my teens. I was part of an all female sound system when I was a teenager, and then I stopped, and the whole world changed, and people weren't carrying record boxes anymore, and all the rest of it. But then, in the last few years, I made a comeback, and I realised that the skills were still there. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I wanted to get your thoughts on a few issues that, like I said, I know are interesting and that are important to the listeners and the people in my network who listen to this radio show.
Yeah.
So if you could tell us what your thoughts are on the health and well-being of people of African descent in the Western world, because in some ways, even though there's a lot of turmoil that's happening in the so-called, I don't like this expression, but the so-called third world countries where a lot of our relatives are from, it still doesn't always seem like they are subjected to some of the things that we are subjected to in the Western world. So they're almost protected, and there's a meme that's out there, one of those pictures with words on it, and it's got a picture of those 3 African boys looking out onto the vast forests in Africa, all with their arms around each other, and they've got speech bubbles up, and it says stuff like, I heard that in America, children have to sit inside all day and they don't get to go outside and play and they don't get to be under the sun. And then one of the other boys says, maybe we should raise money and send it to them. So even though people think that, our ancestors relatives in our countries of origin are suffering, I feel that there's a lot of suffering that we're doing even though it seems like we're in the developed world and we've got all these opportunities, I feel that there's still things that people maybe don't understand or don't realize that they're suffering from. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, that meme sounds completely on point, because we have words like, for example, I, like yourself, don't like the whole third world scenario. Even they say developing world, as though, the Western world is the developed world. But then it's like, okay, well, what's your value system and what are you placing the emphasis on? Because why are you calling yourself developed? Because you exploit other countries and take their minerals and resources and make quote unquote technology and big buildings. That's what makes you developed. These are the things whereby what we saw was, especially in that meme, is emotional, spiritual, physical development, you know. And I think in the West, we have things really backwards and actually have a really narrow paradigm. And so when you live here, a lot of the time, it's the easiest thing is to buy into the culture and to buy into these ideas, that these ideas are in contradiction with our emotional, physical and spiritual well-being. And as such, I feel like a lot of the, you know, the problems that we have, be it diabetes, be it blood pressure, be it mental health, be it, you know, the large amount of sisters who have to have cesareans, whatever it is, I think it's as a byproduct of our attitude towards what development is and what progress is and who we even are.
That is very interesting, because things like, that exactly what you just said. In fact, like, people will see that they're progressing because they can afford to buy a certain type of hair product, or they can afford to wear high-heeled shoes, or they can afford to put certain expensive chemical creams on their skin. And those three things can actually cause them health problems that result in them actually being sick, but they still see that their lifestyle is one of affluence and progression, and they feel that they've come a long way from what their healthy and happy relatives are doing back in their country of origin. That is very insightful, actually. And in fact, one of your tracks that's actually just a complete favorite in my house, like, the YouTube video for this track that you've got has probably got about 300,000 views. Trust me, 200,000 of those views probably came from my very own house, because my children had your song on repeat, and it was the colon and a bracket, Facebook song. And the way you describe people carrying on social media, on Facebook, oh my goodness, it was so, do you want to talk to the public a little bit about that, just in case they're not aware of that song, if they're under a rock or something?
You know, so colon and a bracket, that's the emoticon for a smiley face. And I just thought, hold on a minute, we're getting deeper and deeper into technology, and we're like, you know, oh, it can do all of these amazing things, but we're losing ourselves and our interactions in these things, to the point whereby we're not even dressing up so we could feel good and go out and other people can see us. We're dressing up so that we can take pictures to put on social networking, so that people that we maybe don't even know can like the picture. Do you know what I mean? And then we get this rush of false gratification. You know, rather than, you know, doing the, you know, engaging, you know, developing relationships. And I'm not saying, you know, like, bun Facebook and come on social media and all the rest of it, but I am saying put it into context. You know, I wonder how many times when we type LOL are we really laughing out loud?
No one's laughing out loud, sister, and everyone's silent.
Do you see what I mean? Like,
no one is rolling on the floor laughing or laughing their butts off. No one's doing that.
That's not healthy, because actually the process of laughing out loud or rolling on the floor laughing is healing, is therapeutic. You know, these things are here for a reason. It's not like, you know, sometimes we can look at these things on a surface level, but our ancestors were very, very well aware of the power of things that we now just think of as entertainment, and we just sort of think of in a bit of a flyaway, you know, in a throwaway manner. So a colon and a bracket was like a satirical, just like kind of poke, excuse the pun, but you know, at the whole culture of social media, and, you know, getting us to question, well, actually, is it really, you know, how healthy is it?
And you know what, it's quite interesting, because I love Facebook, I love social media, I love Pinterest. In fact, I actually love Pinterest. And I know that it's definitely got its uses. It's definitely got its uses in business. It's great to stay in touch with people and connect with people and things like that. But I do have to kind of catch myself when I'm like maybe in a situation with someone, I'm really maybe up. Normally it's when I'm upset with someone. And sometimes I feel the need to go and post something on Facebook about how I'm feeling about somebody else. instead of actually going and talking to that person, and I know that that is not a healthy thing to do, so I normally stop myself from doing that, but I know that it's Facebook has and social media does is kind of replacing people's natural human behavior, which is not a healthy thing.
And also to, as you were saying, sort of not confront things, because it's very easy to type things. Do you know what I mean? Type big words in capital letters. You know? But if that person was in front of you, right, would you be expressing that?
Yeah.
And so it kind of allows people to not necessarily take the level of ownership for action as you would have to interacting in the quote-unquote real world.
Definitely. Okay, so then as a sister, do you feel that us as females have got kind of unique challenges that aren't really catered for in the society that we're living in right now?
Yes, definitely. I mean, once again, like, putting it into the broader picture, the women's rights is a relatively new thing in Western society. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, in terms of looking at the world from a female perspective, or acknowledging the feminine or the divine feminine, these are all really, really like new principles. And so as African people, coming in with cultures that honor the feminine, that honor the woman, that respect the woman, that overstand our magic and our beauty, you come into this context and suddenly it's not respected. Our intuition is being called, nonsense. Oh gosh, she's having one, isn't she? Or it must be her time at the month, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And actually, our wisdom and all the great things that we can bring to the society are being pushed aside or trampled on. And then the only way to gain quote unquote power is to emulate masculinity. And do you know what I mean? And not even a progressive masculinity. Do you know what I mean? A very base level of masculinity. And I think it's detrimental to all of us, to our children, to each other, when we lose the feminine, because the feminine is so amazing. And so we're forced to work out of harmony with who we are in the name of progress. It doesn't make it easy for us to honor our cycles. When you think of things like menstruation, etc., and then we've got all these products that are filled up with bleach and chlorine and all of this stuff, which ultimately attacks our mental, physical, and spiritual. So I think that funnily enough, where we speak a lot in the West about women's rights and how progressive we are, because we're not doing some of these things that they're doing to women in other parts of the world. Actually, I don't actually feel that we are that progressive when it comes to how the West deals with sisters.
And interestingly, there's a book. Well, no, there's a couple of books that my teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, Pana Babylon, has written. One of them is called Sacred Feminine. The other one is The Woman is Planet Earth. And when you read some of the things that he speaks about in there, insofar as like how a sacred feminine should conduct herself, how she should be treated, how she should be free to, express her beauty, and how she should carry herself. If you actually followed what it was that he's recommending, the behaviors and the conduct that he suggests in there, which is all coming, from our ancient cultures, our ancient African cultures, you would stand out, like you would stick out like a sore thumb if you behaved like that in this society. However, that is exactly how that's the honorable and dignified way that we should be behaving, and that's how we should be looked upon by other people as well. But we've been so far removed from our culture that when you read that, you're like, I couldn't possibly do any of that. And then we look at our ancestors as being the strange, weird ones, because of how dignified and how noble they are as women. And like you said, I feel that we're not even allowed to express that. And we do have to kind of find ways to conform, even though it probably innately doesn't even feel right to us.
Yeah. It's that whole thing of turning everything on its head, right? So, you know, making good bad and bad good, you know? And so, as you said, things that are dignified, that are natural, people are like, what sort of life is that? You know, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Because fun is not being able to see straight and throwing up in the street and having all your body out a door a Friday night. That's what fun is. Do you see what I mean? Fun is not feeling good and laughing and smiling with your family. And do you know what I mean? That that's not quote unquote fun in this society. And I think that I think actually, especially as African people, our journey in recent history has been so heavy that we're like, oh, please, no more work.
Yeah. We just need to
and so party. In the, you know, it's just like, you know, like if you're physically really unhealthy, going for a short walk is like big work. And I feel like because we are like mentally really unhealthy, you know, some would say out of our minds, right? That this seems like, you know, something like being still, you know, it's hard work. You know, being centered, you know, is hard work. You know, maybe gaining attention not from your physical attributes, but from, you know, what you exude from the inside is hard work. Because, you know, it's just like, look, it's all on display. It's all really basic. And this is how we respond.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And so, as you say, you actually do stick out because somebody covered from you know, head to toe in their burqa or whatever stands out more than somebody walking out with their morning, noon and night outdoors. So this is the society that we live in.
Yeah. And you know what, we've also adopted the culture of YOLO, you only live once, and that's never been part of our culture. We always know that, you know, we can connect with our ancestors who have passed on. You know, we gave reverence to our ancestors. We gave reverence to nature and all the different elements in it. And we're talking ancestors from your mother that's just passed on, your grandmother, all the way back to ancient deities. And this YOLO concept, you only live once, is very new to us. But a lot of people have been born into it. So they feel that they don't need to do anything to protect their spirit and their soul and their spiritual self, because it's when they pass on, everything's stopping right here. And that's not part of our culture at all.
Yeah, and you know, and something that I really don't feel makes logical sense, you know. So I say, okay, you only live this lifetime once.
Yeah.
You know, but once again, this is when we're just disconnected from our story. You know, from that actually we have a worldview, and you know, the dominant worldviews in the West are not. Like they're not worldviews, they're Western views. Yeah, you know, and us with our origin not being Western have some different views and more progressive and healthier views that that we can draw upon, and I think not only benefits us, but you know, benefits the whole of the society that we're in. Yeah. You know, because no one necessarily seems like they're having that much of a good time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I even heard I almost considered this lady the epitome of like degenerative Western culture. I don't care if people hate me for saying this, but Lady Gaga, she was saying that she stopped making music. Apparently it was a couple of years ago, but I don't think it was that long ago. But apparently at some point she stopped making music because she felt that her creativity was being stunted by all the people that were around her forcing her to do things. And she didn't like promoting fragrance. She didn't like showing up places just to be standing there and taking pictures with people. She said she had more to offer than just her physical appearance. And so she started saying no to things. And she said the more she started saying no to things, the more she felt comfortable with the person that she was looking in the mirror and seeing. And it was really almost quite like a holistic turnaround that she had. in her life. So even the people that I think are at the forefront of this society are suffering at the hands of this society.
Yeah, because the whole, from the Lady Gagas to the, I don't know, to the Rihannas, to the whoever, it's all about creating this illusion that this is progress, and that, look, this is progress because everybody's happy, everybody's skin is perfect, everybody's hair is perfect, all of these sorts of ideas. But actually, what more and more celebrities are coming out saying is that it's not what it looks like on the outside, and this is happening more and more. Dave Chappelle speaks about speaks about his journey a lot within the entertainment business, and why he had to step back in certain ways, and and poses these questions: why are these people who look like they are on top of, that they would have everything in the world, if the aspiration is to have as much money so that you can buy everything that you want, why would you have that and be unhappy? And when we look at this and we look at these we look at these artists, etc., who are on drugs and confused and in abusive relationships and all of this stuff, they're not impervious to the stuff that's going on the ground. Actually, a lot of the time they've taken that to a real extreme. So what is this? Because that clearly isn't a marker of happiness. And I think it's all about creating the illusion, because it's materially based, because finance is at the crux of the value system. Then it's to get people buying into an illusion.
Okay, so as an artist yourself, who, like you said, you specialize in kind of healing through art, what role do you feel that art and creativity can play in helping to heal some of the things that we're suffering from as a nation? So not just as sisters, but just us as a nation.
I think, once again, and I do a lot of the time, draw upon our cultural reference points and our ancient cultural reference points, where we overstood, creativity. We understood these things as sacred art forms, and art forms with power. So when you look at sound and you look at vibration, etc., even just the simple of the fact of the drum giving you a particular vibration says something, speaks to you, does something within your spirit, reverberates within your body, etc., etc. So I feel like art and creativity have an integral role to our development, our advancement, our healing, and even in the context of where art isn't valued in the same way in a society like this, I feel like artists still have the opportunity to be the mouthpiece, be the mouthpiece and advocates for those in our communities who don't necessarily get those platforms. Even just the thing of representation and speaking back our stories to each other. One of the positive bits of feedback that, the video that you mentioned, a colon and a bracket, that I got was like, people were like, oh, like African folk having fun. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's it, just African folk having fun. Like, no one's getting shot, no one's getting, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's no incarceration scene, there's nothing, just literally us having fun and going, oh gosh, we did that too. Do you know what I mean? We smile and love each other and all the rest of it, And so I feel like even on that level, in terms of our image out there and us being primary again. I've got a line in one of my pieces about being primary in our own imagination. That whole idea when we close our eyes and we see man and we see a black man, we see woman, we see stuff else. And I think that arts and creativity have a really big role in us kind of like claiming back ourselves, and also just like the fact that art can help create a safe space for us to explore sensitive issues.
Yeah.
You know, I'm part of a collective called the Best Kept Secret, West Spoken Word Collective, and we use spoken word and music, and we call it the anesthetic.
Hey.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we've got some very serious things to say, but you know, fling a little melody and bust up. Do you know what I mean? It makes it a little bit easier than if you try to, deal with it at the dinner table.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And creativity has that power because it's healing at the same time. You know. So yeah, I think it's like really. I think it's major. I think it has a major role in healing our nation. You know, and it's not just those who regard themselves as professional, quote unquote, artists who engage in art. I think art is something for all of us. You know,
I think the fact when you put the words art and creativity together, I think it kind of allows you to think about the many different ways that art can be created and how you can create art. So even if you're a gardener, when you successfully manage to plant a seed and nurture it and it grows into a bud and then a beautiful flower and then food that we can eat, you've in a way artistically created something that's beneficial to many people. When you write a book, no matter what the subject, you're bringing things out of you, and writing in many ways, even if it's not an artistic kind of subject, writing is a creation. It's like a birthing. It's like a child, something that you've brought forth into the world. And it's something that just in the same way that when you've successfully nurtured a seed, because I've planted many seeds in my garden. I've got a big old garden and half of them do not grow. Half of them do not grow. We have like a blinking 5 meter square patch that we tried to grow about 15 vegetables on. We ended up with 1 courgette and 1 kale plant, and I was so proud of the kale plant. I never even blinking picked the thing and ate it. I just looked at it like, yes, we grew something. So when you do create these things, it does give you a sense of accomplishment and pride, and those feelings of accomplishment and pride and joy and success, those feelings are healing, and they're healing to a lot of the negative input that we've been given about us not being successful and not being productive and those types of things. Now, you've got an event coming up that I know that you're working on, and it kind of explores some of the things that we've been speaking about. So can you tell us a bit more about that and how you feel that the events like the one that you're going to be having can be helpful to our community at this time?
Yeah. So the event that I and the rest of the team, because we do have a really dope team, are working on is an event called Back to Life. So, and which is, back to life. Some people have read it and gone back to live, and I'm like, yeah, that too. The stuff that we spoke about in terms of people coming off of social media and coming and actually engaging in interaction again, so this is like the spirit of Back to Life. It's live, edutainment, and it's living. So, and the aspect of it is that it's actually it's a lifestyle brand. As an artist, being as a solo, when I'm going around as a solo artist, sometimes people will, see the creativity and be like, oh, wow, it's really great. And then you speak to them after, they're like, oh, I like the sorts of topics that you talk about. I like your hair. I like your shirt. I like your whatever. And actually you then realize that, oh, you're not just representing yourself. You are actually representing a set of ideas and practices. And so I wanted to create a space that was alternative to the dominant culture, which we can see, in the society. It's filled with so many ills, some of which we've spoken about, and actually create a space for people who wanted to do something different from that dominant culture, So, we've got progressive music, spoken word, comedy. We've got, like, this month we've got Ayanna Witter-Johnson and Shortman, Cat Francois, Nyarai, all these amazing artists. And what we also do is we have a segment called Up in Your Business. And what that allows us to do is get a bit up in the artist and business, because the artists that we select, their art is an extension of something that they want to contribute to this planet, and something that they want to contribute to the healing of our nation, you know? And so we get to find out and engage in a bit more of that. There's also a segment that's led by KMT Freedom Teacher, which is sustainability in the city. So when I about with sex in the city, we're dealing with sustainability in the city, you know? Because, like, you know, because I live bang smack in London. And, you know, and I'm like, yes, you know, Hotep, peace and blessings, Mother Earth, etc. And then I come out and I can see concrete and fumes. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, right, you know, I'm trying here, but something's a bit, you know, there's more McDonald's than there are Whole Foods. Do you know what I mean? So this is, you know, and, you know, it's very, you know, I've had that same thing as yourself, you know, let me grow something, but I can't live off potatoes and lemon balm.
I'm telling
it's just not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, how can we, you know, what are the ways in which we can make our city living a bit more congruent with what we would like, how we would like to interact with the planet. Yeah. So we've got him bringing in his tips. I mean, last time he had people on stage planting seeds, like. Woohoo! Do you know what I mean? So, you know, Saturday night, people are out having fun.
Yes,
you know? So, yes, you got them kind of, you've got, that's what I call news, which is us telling the sorts of news that we would want to hear.
Oh, good.
You know, I think, you know, from, you know, all the mainstream tabloids, news shows, etc., are bogged down with bad news, actually. They should call it bad news. They shouldn't call it good news. Call it bad news, because most of the time, it's gossip and bad news. And, you know, and then especially as African people, we're represented atrociously by this medium. So it's like, you know, actually, let's represent ourselves in that's what I call news. That's what we call news. So we've got these sections. We've also got every event we pay homage to somebody great from our past.
Oh, nice.
So this event, this is Sojourner Truth.
Hey, lovely.
This would be her Earth Month, her birth month. So we have the Truth Market, which promotes products which help you stay true to honouring you. So we've got you know, we've got people selling stuff, as I said, as part of the sorts of stuff that you would want to go home with as part of this lifestyle, you know. So on every level we try to with the event, you know, the basis of it is the creative arts, but also the lifestyle that it permeates into. And, you know, we do little games so that people actually chat to each other. Because, you know, that happens as well. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't know the sister on the next table or the brother sitting next to you. You know, you can get to know them, because that's how, you know, that's how we build. Yeah. And, you know, so that's the vibe of what we've got going on Saturday the 14th of November at Hoxton Hall.
Excellent.
On Hoxton Street, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And what time does it start and finish?
Okay, so it starts at 7 p.m. Doors open at 7 p.m.
Yep.
And then the event finishes around 11. So it'll finish early enough for those who have to get public transport or whatever to get back to where they're going.
Okay, cool. All right, so as this is the Naturally You radio show, this is something that I ask all my guests, because it's really interesting to find out what the different views that people have on this expression. But I've been a Naturally You coach for a number of years now, and I know what Naturally You means to me. To me, it means becoming nourished and fulfilled on all levels. Because I started off as a nutritionist, but realized that if I was only going to focus on what someone was eating, then I wasn't truly a holistic practitioner or a holistic servant to my community. So I know that it takes nourishment on all different levels for you to become naturally you. So I'd like to ask you, what does being naturally you mean to you?
It means being able to live in alignment with one's purpose on this planet, and to fully express that in all levels of one's being.
Wonderful.
Yeah. That's what naturally you means to me.
That's lovely. Okay. Okay. And what message do you want to leave our listeners with as we wrap up our chat for today?
I'd like to leave the listeners with, start the healing journey. You know, wherever
Nice.
you are
Mm-hmm.
in this, I don't think it's about beating up on oneself, because we all have our contradictions. We all have our response to the environment that we're in.
Mm.
But every day we get given the blessing of a reboot, of a chance to make new choices.
Mm-hmm.
And so, let the journey begin. Let the healing begin, you know. I've got a line in one of my poems: forgive the bad and embrace the good. You know, and that's my message.
Nice.
For our listeners.
Thank you, my sister. And thank you so much for spending the last 40 odd minutes with me. It's been lovely to talk to you today.
It's been a pleasure, sister. Thank you very much. And thank you just generally for the work that you are doing.
Oh, thank you, sis.
Your listeners are blessed to be blessed with you on these podcasts. And you're very much valued in the community, and I'm sure even beyond.
Oh, cheers, love. That's
thank
lovely.
you.
Okay, so in closing, can you let us know where we can find you on and offline? So on the 14th of November, Saturday the 14th of November 2015, you're going to be at the Hoxton Hall for the Back to Live event.
That's right.
Where else can we, and if you could give us the website where we can get more details about that event, and where else we can find you as well.
Okay, lovely. So for Back to Live, you can find us at www.backtoliveart.com, and that's the number 2, and LIVE art.com. So www.backtoliveart.com, and you can find us at Back to Live Art on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that business. And then if you want to find out more about some of my other work and other projects, I am at www.onenesssankara.com. And once again, on all of the other social medias, I am there, Oneness Sankara.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for being a part of Naturally You Radio. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in to another episode of Naturally You Radio. Again, you can find me at naturallyyoucoach.com on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, under Natural You Coach or the Naturally You Coach or Leah Salmon. I look forward to speaking with you all again soon. Have a great day, take care, and stay healthy.